first thing you want to do before working on any electrically driven air compressor is to make sure the compressor itself is turned off, the power to the compressor is turned off, and if possible, that the air compressor is unplugged from the power service. Once you feel you're sure that you've turned off the power to the compressor and disconnected any additional power sources that might operate the air compressor, you want to use your multimeter or an amp probe to check to make sure that you are sure that there is no power being delivered to the air compressor. Use your multimeter to make sure that you don't have any operational power going to the compressor systems. Once you have verified this, you can move on to the next step of draining the tank or system pressure to make sure that the compressor is safe to operate. Once you verify that the air compressor is turned off and all electrical power has been disconnected from the air compressor, you want to make sure that you drain the system pressure from the tank of the compressor where you're working with. Make sure that this pressure has been drained down to zero. You can check by checking your tank pressure gauge to make sure that it reads zero. You can also check by pulling the tank safety valve to also make sure that there is no pressure left in the tank. The tank safety valve is typically located somewhere near the gauge. Once you've checked all these things, your compressor is now safe to work on. We're now going to show you how to change the valves in our CA4 series compressor pump. When you're looking at the compressor pump, you have a low pressure intake valve, a low pressure discharge valve, a high pressure intake valve, and a high pressure discharge valve. So we are going to change the low pressure discharge valve and the high pressure discharge valve in this video. Removing the cover and a low pressure discharge valve, you can access the valve to inspect, replace, or clean it. Simply reinsert the valve into its position in the head of the compressor. The valve cap back in its place. And the screws back into their holes. On the high pressure discharge valve, sometimes the screwdriver is needed to help the valve cap to come out due to the O-ring seal. Always inspect the O-ring seal on any of the valves. You can now remove the valve out of the head, inspect, clean, or replace it, and replace it back into the head of the compressor. Again, when tightening the valve caps back down, rotate your corners so that you don't over tighten one and create a gap in the valve seal. Now replace 2 of the 8 valves in a CA4 series compressor pump.